Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar on modular design with micro-frontends. My name is Chetan and I'll be your host for the webinar. Organizations across the globe face challenges in modernizing enterprise-grade monolithic application to address market-specific needs and generate more revenue. With micro-frontends, enterprises and product firms can create customizable applications which are quick to develop, scale, deploy, and maintain. Before we begin our session, I would like to inform you that you can type in your questions during the webinar and we'll try and answer those at the end of the session. Now Infosystems is a leading global IT services provider with 25 years of experience in delivering innovative technology solutions to customers across industries. With more than 2 decades in the technology business, we have enabled many SMEs and Fortune 500 companies to achieve digital excellence. We are partnered with leading technology providers to help our customers create measurable business value. Our business units deliver global software services, independent software testing and QA services, and remote infrastructure managed support services. We have served many customers across the business verticals, including banking and financial services, insurance, healthcare life sciences, medical devices, retail, and manufacturing. So this will be the agenda for today's webinar. We'll start with what is modular design and understand its benefits. Then we'll move towards composability and how it is impacting the various use cases in industries. Third, we'll cover the customer success story, which does a deep dive into micro frontends. And last, we'll take on some of the questions that you might have during the session. Darshan and Bobby will take us through our webinar. Darshan is the Executive Strategy Head for Digital Experience Services Practice at Nous Infosys. Over 27 years of experience in heading strategic development for digital services in customer experience for multiple companies. He has helped multiple companies in achieving hyper-growth and has guided customers in holistic digital transformation. Bobby is the Senior Technical Architect and currently heads the Center of Competencies for UI Engineering. He has been in the IT services industry for more than 16 years and has vast experience in delivery, proposals, web application development with variety of JavaScript and .NET based front-end frameworks. Over to you, Darshan, now.
Thank you and welcome once again. My name is Darshan. Me and my colleagues at Nous, we are happy to welcome you to this webinar on modular design. So when we talk of modular design, what is the first thing that comes to our mind? So Lego blocks personify modular design. These are your small bricks or small product or atomic products with which you can create almost an infinitesimal amount of permutation combination to create design. You can unleash your creativity and create unimaginable permutations, variations, and create a very cohesive design. So in essence, modular design is all about subdividing a system into smaller parts, which we can call modules or atomic parts, which then let you independently create, modify, replace, and exchange to create a very comprehensive and a cohesive system that can actually be steeped in creativity, can give you a lot of maintainability between products, and more about that later on. But primarily, it is a very cohesive system without being monolith. And that is the power of modular design. And the example doesn't stop here. In fact, modular design has been around for quite some time. It has been around in various industries. The other great example, when you think of modular design, is IKEA or the furniture industry. They have been using modular design since very early on. And every part, every element or every atomic part of a furniture can be reused in different elements to create, maybe as a chair, a sofa, and a variety of other combinations. Automotive industry has used modular design for a long time. the primary engine, the parts, the steering wheel. Imagine if your car was one monolith, then every time something went wrong, you had to actually replace the entire car. So it doesn't work that way. The construction industry too, has been using modular design for a very long time. So it is just natural that we adapted this to our digital world, and modular design became a foundation of how we began to create digital assets, digital products, including our web presence and our digital presence. In fact, composability and modularization has become the foundation of businesses as well. Business tend to become composable, enterprise are composable, enterprise architecture is composable. The nimbleness and flexibility with which the business needs to adapt and grow and scale with M&A or complexity or build ecosystems, which is more prominent now. The whole idea of modular design and composability allows a business to be flexible yet scalable and adapt to the pace of change very rapidly. And when it comes to apply the same principles that we applied, on a Lego block to different industries, to businesses, to our digital assets or digital products, things like responsive grid or Windows style design or card design comes into play, where each element can be independently designed, independently developed, but yet come together to form a very cohesive and integrated system without being monolith. This gives a higher amount of maintainability, usability, creativity to be applied on a single platform without having to get stuck into any particular set of design pattern or a design system. So the applicability of this is tremendous. It opens doors for a variety of different applications to be composable and to be flexible. Let's take e-commerce or digital retail as we know it now. Each element, right from your pricing engines to content to product distributions or product descriptions, can be independently designed, independently created, yet come together to provide a seamless, cohesive end user experience in terms of end-to-end commerce. Or take the ed tech industry or the health tech industry, which given the current state of affairs has been going a tremendous transformation. You can create modular courses, courseware, interaction design, and then be able to white label it, to be able to customize it specific to your audience. So while your underlying principles can remain the same, you can still give a very, very personalized experience to the audience that you are, wanting to aim for. Similarly, if you take travel agencies or the or the insurance industry, for example, there is a need. For example, if you are working through a healthcare partner or a global distribution or a channel partner, then there is always a need that you create a design, but then you need to be able to optimize it, customize it, white label it, co-brand it with your partner ecosystem. And that is where a lot of elements of modular design come into play. So its use cases spawn across industries, spawn across different type of businesses and organizations. And what we will do is in the next few moments, we will go through some examples of how this can be applied in real life with a live case study. And before I hand you over to our lead architect, Bobby, who will walk you through a detailed case study, let me re-emphasize that it actually unleashes creativity. The modular design gives you freedom to contextualize the design to your audience. It gives you the flexibility to create individual parts and then the part become the whole without it becoming, a monolith. It still gives you the ability to have consistent design patterns and user experience across your digital presence. And some of the biggest thing is the reusability. The component reusability can be across the projects, it can be across programs, it can be across products and across your organization, and sometimes even cross organization. The other great advantage is the speed, the flexibility, and the agility this kind of design system gives. In fact, it was born for agile and the digital world. So in effect, it's a very powerful tool for organizations and business to have. And in the next few slides, my colleague and our lead architect, Bobby, will walk you through a live case study where you will be able to appreciate this in action much more. Thank you.
Hi all. We will now take a look at a case study. An instance where Nows helped our customer to build a customizable solution using modular design. A customer of Nows approached us with a very interesting problem. They wanted to build a highly customizable portal, customizable in terms of look and feel as well as the user flow. In fact, they wanted to build a set of these portals for their customers. This customer was a leading insurance provider and a device protection partner for leading mobile OEMs such as Samsung and operators such as T-Mobile. They were building a device trade-in program where you could trade your mobile device, your laptop or your tablet, and then the customer can get some sort of credit for trading in their device and use the same credit when they are purchasing some new device. Their requirement was such that they wanted to build a set of portals to be deployed for their service partners, and each of these portals should be customized in terms of look and feel to match their service partners' look and feel. They also wanted to customize the flow for individual service partners. So we can think of it as Samsung can have 5 steps in their user journey for trading, whereas T-Mobile may have 8 steps. So immediately we could understand that we needed to build this application as a set of modules. These set of modules will be predefined, but then in order to build these individual portals, we will pick and choose the modules, and then we will put together a flow and a solution. We could also see that for customizing the look and feel, we needed to provide hooks in there for changing the logos, the fonts, the colors, the color schemes, etc. So when we thought through this problem, we realized that micro-frontend was a perfect match to address this problem. Why micro-frontend? Before getting into the why question, let us see what micro-frontend is. It is a design pattern that has been emerging in the front-end world in the recent times. It can be thought of as the equivalent of microservices in the front-end world. So if you take a look at the picture here, you can see how a monolith is broken down into micro-frontends. The top portion is you can see a front-end monolith where the source code comprises of 3 different modules depicted as three boxes, which is written together, or which is which is the same code base. Now this entire code base is built, tested, and then deployed at the same time, and then in the production web application, they become the 3 different modules of the application. The bottom picture shows the same application, the same 3 modules split into 3 micro frontends. In this case, the code base for the 3 micro frontends or the 3 modules are not the same anymore. They are split into 3 different code bases as well. They are written separately, they are built separately, they are tested separately, and they are also deployed separately. But the end result, an application comprising of the three different modules, which is same as the one above. So this is the idea behind the micro frontends. You split the code base into smaller modules which can be managed separately. When you split a code base, big code base into smaller chunks, that automatically gives focused management. It becomes easier to manage that. It also allows teams to work on the micro frontends parallelly, which can improve development time considerably. Another important advantage of micro frontend is that it can be employed on migration projects as well. Sometimes when companies want to migrate a big application into a new technology, what happens is that entire effort takes a long time, and sometimes companies cannot afford that. So what they can do is they can actually migrate pieces or modules of functionality as micro frontends into the new technology, and then that becomes a longer affair where individual pieces can be migrated, tested, and then slowly individual pieces of functionality can be migrated to the new technology. Another interesting use case is the use of micro frontends allow the use of or enable the use of different technologies, different front-end technologies, for example React or Angular, in a single application. This is useful when when you want to choose the right tool for the right job. So someday, or maybe your front-end team has developers who are skilled in multiple technologies, and you want to leverage their skill set or for the same web application. So in such cases, micro frontend opens many such opportunities for us. The approach that we discussed in the previous slide is not the only way to do micro frontends. We discussed about runtime integration in the previous slide, where the micro frontends are written separately, built separately, tested separately, deployed separately, but comes together in the runtime, and hence the name runtime integration. In the runtime, they are brought together using iframes or JavaScript, or the individual components are written as web components using a framework such as Stencil.js or Angular elements, and they are brought together at the runtime. The separate micro frontends can also be brought together using server-side templates. Nowadays, there are plenty of frameworks available to do micro frontends as well. Examples would be Single SPA, Webpack Module Federation. Also, there is an interesting tool called bit.dev, which promotes the micro frontend oriented development. However, none of this was fitting for our need. We went for something called built-time integration, where our micro frontends were built together. So it was put together as a single bundle at the build time itself and then deployed. So why build time integration? In our case, there was the functionalities or all the aspects of the project was very clear till build time itself. We didn't need to wait till the deployment. Also, the functionalities didn't change much once deployed. We also had the additional advantage of using Angular, which supports a concept called workspace, where independent projects can be can live within the same workspace or in the same code base. So this kind of facilitated the choice of built-time integration in our case. The choice of micro front-end approach actually depends on the project. It varies from project to project. So you have to like validate your requirements and look at the various styles and decide on the micro front-end approach that is right for you. So in our case, the built-time integration was the one. This picture right here shows a brief overview of our solution based on modular development and micro frontends. So on the left side you can see the micro frontends, and on the right side you can see the portals that were developed using the micro frontends. You can also see that the different combinations of the micro frontends are used in the portals. For example, OEM portal uses homepage, device details, personal details, and check status, whereas telecom is comprised of device details, personal details, and check status. So that this is the whole idea. So different micro frontends are put together um, into different portals at the build time. Now you can also see that the micro frontends names also correspond to pages. So this was the first level of micro frontend creation that we have done. So each page is a micro frontend. Now one important thing here is that for the designs, so we had a design team working with us while we were creating these micro frontends. So the design team actually created the designs which are consistent across different pages, and we made sure, working with a design team, that we used a color scheme that is consistent across the pages. We used and the fonts, the images, all these are consistent across the pages. So this was very important for us. So when we customize these styles, or when we customize the look and feel, the overall layout is going to remain the same, but certain aspects of the style, such as primary colors, secondary colors, the fonts, logos, etc. would change. So that is the idea. After creating the page level micro frontends, we have extracted functionality that are common to multiple pages, and then created micro frontends out of them as well. Any functionality that is common to all, such as internationalization, was put as another micro frontend. The styles, all the style related changes, or the style related definitions. So we had some base variables, CSS variable, SAS variable definitions, and styles created using those variables, which were all put together as a single micro frontend. So all these micro frontends then were actually brought into the portals to create the website that is specific to a tenant. The micro frontends, individual micro frontends or the page level micro frontends, were designed in such a way that it can accept inputs and it can produce outputs which are events. Now the responsibility of the portal is to bring together multiple these pages from the micro frontend stack, and then create routing among these pages, which is dependent on the output events. So home page has an output event which will trigger a routing event, and then the OEM portal will route it to device details. So the flow of any flow can be achieved within these portals. So which was one of the requirements of the client, and the other one was to customize the look and feel, using which we have provided configuration variables as well as CSS variables. So we were able to meet both demands of the clients in terms of customizing the look and feel and customizing flow by putting together different flows for different tenants. That brings us to the end of the discussion. We have received a few questions from you, and I'll go ahead and answer some of those now. First one is micro-frontend a better option for growing code bases? Thank you for the question. Uh, as an application grows, its complexity also grows. The code base also grows. Now it will be a good idea to split the code base into multiple micro frontends, and split the team also accordingly, so that each team can focus on a single focused micro frontend, and that will certainly improve the code quality and maintainability of the code. So I think the answer is micro frontend is a good option for growing code bases. Next question is, what can be the challenges while implementing micro frontends? Thank you again for the question. Micro frontend implementation varies according to the underlying application, how large it is, what is the structure of microservices, or what is the deployment needs, what is the level of dynamicity required, what are the development team skills, and many more factors. But in my opinion, the major two issues are maintaining the UI UX consistency, or UX consistency, and communication among the team members. So these are the most important challenges that I feel in a micro services implementation. So UI UX consistency, when you look at it, it's one of the critical problems to standardize the UX. So many teams are working on different micro frontends, and you need to have a similar experience on each of them. So it is the one way to address this is to establish a style guide at the very start of the project. Establish it and work with the design team to make sure that a style guide is prepared, and use a starter material a UI kit such as Material or Bootstrap, and then create a style guide working with the developer designers, and ensure that every team is aligned on that. So that will be a good idea. And communication among the team members, or the different streams or different micro frontend teams, is also very important. So a micro frontend has to interact with the other, or a micro frontend when brought together as an application they have to interact with each other, and maybe utilize other micro frontends within them. So the interfaces must be very clear, and the teams must maintain very good documentation standards, such that so as to reduce friction among teams. I think if you have further questions, please inform, you can contact us, and we'll be happy to assist. And thank you.
Thank you, Darshan and Bobby. That was an insightful session for us. I absolutely enjoyed and hope our audience might have also. Thank you for the questions, everyone. We will surely connect with you over email to answer the question that we couldn't cover now. Also, we are offering free one-on-one consultation with our experts on UI front-end development challenges. Thank you for participating today in today's webinar. We appreciate you being here. Have a great day.